Good morning, I'm Brian Reagan, this is
Tyler Kelly.
And this morning we're going to look at some, I guess you'd call them good guys. It really just depends on how you look at it.
It does.
From Genesis chapter 34, verses 25 through 31. Tyler?
Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, the two sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because their sister had been defiled. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, what was in the city and what was in the field, and all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a harlot?"
All right. So this account, young man by the name of Shechem raped a young woman by the name of Dinah. And after he finished raping her, he decided, hey, you know, she's all right. She's a keeper. You say, hey, what do you want me to say? You know, it was 4,000 years ago. If you think people are really that different now, I don't know what to tell you. Because people are just as crazy today. Jacob's solution is to cut a treaty with the young man and his father because it's good for business. I could say a lot there. But I don't want to be accused of racism. So Simeon and Levi say, hey, you know what? If they'll all get circumcised, we can do business with them, Pop. Sounds like a great plan. So he goes back, says, if you all will be circumcised, we'll enter into business deals with you. Part of Jacob's hesitancy I don't get, because his father and his grandfather have the reputation in the area that this is always the wrong family to mess with. But Jacob had walked by sight on so many different things for so long. He's not yet really at that place where he's genuinely walking by faith yet. He's had a couple faith points, but he's really not there. So he goes for it. On the third day, as it says, when all the men were still hurting from being circumcised, Simeon, Levi, and their men enter the city and strike down all those men. And their dad's mad. He says, you know, you've created all kinds of political trouble for us now. And the boys look at him and said, you know what, we don't care. You sold our sister out for the same price as a prostitute. No, just no, Dad. If you're going to make things right, you need to do it then. They didn't wait 50 years. They didn't wait 500 years. Apparently Dinah wasn't a big fan of this idea either, you know, but Jacob was in favor of it. He expected his boys to go along with it. Everybody gives bad Simeon, bad Levi, you know,
And Jacob does later too.
You know, and Jacob does, and shame on them. And I look at it and I ask the same question. You're willing to trade out our family for what? For a little bit of business deals and a little bit of political power? You're willing to swap our sister out for that? What's wrong with you? And this is why, and Tyler, do you have some other thoughts before I? This is why this stuff will not leave the family of Jacob till the day of his death. Jacob has been this way for the majority of all the lives of all of his kids, and all of his kids do the same kind of maneuvering and machinations he does. If If you remember when we talked last night about Jacob and Rachel and the naming of Benjamin, if you want to change for future generations, you start changing who you are now. And you start knocking off the old junk of who you used to be starting now. And stop perpetuating the stuff that you didn't like and learn the good thing that would be the replacement for it and start putting that into motion now. Vengeance? No. No. Vengeance ain't the path forward. Because as time will move on, what? This vengeance blood feud thing, it will go on for literally the next 1,000 years within the different tribes of Jacob's kids. So that if I had any negative on Simeon and Levi, they show a predisposition where violence is concerned that will set up things for centuries to come that will infect all of the children of Jacob's ancestors. So
ancestors or descendants?
Descendants, there we go. Well, you know, apparently it affected his ancestors because all of his great uncles and great cousins of Ishmael's family, you know, by Jacob's day, they weren't getting along with them. So, woohoo! Doesn't take too long.
Nope.
You know, so with that, I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Hill.
And we bid you good morning.